He quickly turned his head when he felt a strange sensation on the back of his neck. The Dragon King's arm was dangerously close to Jinwoo. The hunter dropped to the ground, using his energy to soften the fall. A powerful blast of energy immediately chased after him. Boom! Jinwoo gasped for air after barely escaping again. Huff, huff, huff. Even though Jinwoo attacked many times, the Dragon King remained strong and unmoving like a huge mountain. He was much stronger than even the biggest creatures, able to defend against attacks and strike with great force. Jinwoo realized he needed a new plan. He needed to be more powerful, strong enough to defeat a giant wearing metal armor using only his hands. Just like a tiny bug cannot hurt a person, Jinwoo understood he had to become incredibly powerful to overcome such a large enemy. He had to be as strong as the challenge itself. Then he remembered the giant's armor. A brilliant idea suddenly came to him. If Jinwoo could make armor from darkness, could he also change its shape? Thinking about this, a shadow grew from under his feet. The Dragon King felt the movement too. Dark energy flowed out of the shadow around the Shadow Monarch, quickly making him bigger. What was Jinwoo planning now? The Dragon King was curious, but his instincts told him to attack fast. But just as he was about to use his powerful attack, he felt a tap on his back. What was that? The monarch turned around and saw Fang hiding nearby, shooting flames at him. When Fang met the monarch's angry look, he dropped a shiny ball. It clattered to the ground. How dare you? The Dragon King tried to attack Fang instead, but before he could, something hit him hard on the head. Bang! The Dragon King was knocked sideways, and he saw a huge shadowy figure that seemed to reach the sky. Thousands of black lightning bolts hit its shoulders as if the world didn't want it there. Was that a spirit body? That couldn't be true. The Shadow Monarch started as a piece of light, so it shouldn't have a secret form. How could it become so huge? Crack! The Dragon King quickly stopped, scraping up some dirt like peeling fruit. Could it be? The Dragon King was shocked as a thought came to him. Was the Shadow Monarch somehow able to use the power of death? But how was that possible? Jinwoo wasn't always strong, so it was amazing he could use such powerful abilities. I understand now, the Dragon King said quietly, sounding impressed. He has spent a lot of time close to both living and dying. That explained why Ashbourne was able to give all his power to this young man. This person had been struggling to survive for a long time, even before he met Ashbourne, and he kept fighting. The Dragon King now admired the new Shadow Monarch. He wished he hadn't tried to take advantage of Jinwoo being human when they fought the rulers. Whatever it takes, I have to defeat him. He was very dangerous. The two of them looked at each other. The larger Shadow Monarch looked at his own hand. Was this really him? He tried to move his fingers. Jinwoo was now controlling a body made of darkness. But his body wasn't the only thing that had grown bigger. He was now incredibly powerful, and Jinwoo couldn't even imagine how strong he had become. Jinwoo had become very strong, in order to defeat an even stronger enemy. Jinwoo looked up just as a powerful attack came rushing toward him. Crash! The attack and Jinwoo's defense collided, sending fire and dark energy flying everywhere. But Jinwoo stood firm and blocked the Dragon King's attack. Jinwoo was as strong as the Dragon King. They wrestled for a while until the Dragon King bit Jinwoo on the shoulder. Red flames appeared from the bite. Jinwoo didn't get scared. He grabbed the dragon by the horns and pulled his head away before punching him in the face. Bang! The Dragon King didn't fall this time. He roared and quickly rushed back toward Jinwoo, opening his mouth wide and biting Jinwoo's hip. Ouch! For the first time during the fight, Jinwoo cried out in pain. Jinwoo hit the dragon on the head with his elbow, but the Dragon King easily lifted Jinwoo and shook him around. Jinwoo felt a sharp pain like something might break.
Once the Dragon King had attacked enough, he threw Jinwoo to the ground with a loud noise.
Suddenly, a blast of fire came rushing toward Jinwoo. After the fire cleared, Jinwoo realized one of his arms was gone, but he didn't cry out. He ran toward the dragon and quickly pushed his arm into its mouth. He pulled out the dragon's tongue. It made a ripping sound like hot leather tearing. The dragon roared in pain. Instead of blood, hot lava flowed from where its tongue had been. As the dragon twisted and turned, Jinwoo hit its head, and lava splashed everywhere. The Dragon King glared at the hunter and rammed his horns into him. They fought back and forth with powerful blows. Boom! The ground trembled with each crash, and flames and dark lightning burned everything nearby. It was a fierce battle. Fang stared in amazement as the two powerful creatures fought. He finally understood why the most powerful being would create leaders and kings for amusement. Their battle was both terrible and an amazing show of strength. He couldn't stop crying as he watched the two gods fighting with everything they had. Destruction and death were mixed together, and making the entire world tremble. Jinwoo put more power into his punch. Boom. It worked. It worked. His punches flew through the air. Pow, 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 pow. The Dragon King's claws almost hit him, but the hunter quickly stepped back. Whoosh! Jinwoo jumped onto the Dragon King's shoulder and knocked him to the ground. Thud! The Shadow Monarch quickly jumped on top and started hitting him. Bam, 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 bam! The dragon couldn't move because of the fast attacks. Bam, 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 bam! Lightning flashed, sparks flew, and the area around them seemed to change. But one punch wasn't strong enough to defeat the monster. Even though Jinwoo was putting all his energy into one hand, it felt like it was getting weaker with each hit. What was happening? Jinwoo frowned. The Dragon King noticed this too, and quickly grabbed Jinwoo's hand. Jinwoo was very scared when he couldn't get away from the Dragon King's hold. The Dragon King is much more experienced than I am. Jinwoo's eyes widened as the dragon pushed its claws into Jinwoo's side. Ugh! The dragon smiled cruelly. It takes a lot of energy for you to stay this big. After holding Jinwoo still, the Dragon King prepared a powerful blast to defeat the hunter. He was sure he would win. The Dragon King thought he had already won, but then he noticed something. Jinwoo's arm was growing back. Did Jinwoo still have enough strength to do that? Even so, the Dragon King believed Jinwoo couldn't win in his current condition. A strong light came from inside the Dragon King's mouth. Just then, Jinwoo quickly pushed his new arm into the Dragon King's mouth. He used every bit of strength he had left and focused it on his fingertips. Whoosh! The burst of energy created a bright flash and a strong shockwave. Quiet fell after the fight. Jinwoo changed back to his normal self and lay on the ground, breathing heavily. Huff, huff, huff. It felt like his whole body was burning, and he was sore all over. Jinwoo took deep breaths and slowly sat up. Someone was walking toward him through the thick fog left from the blast. Jinwoo sighed when he saw the Dragon King change back into a human. He was a scary creature. The Dragon King was hurt, but Jinwoo was in even worse condition. You are very persistent, the Dragon King said. Jinwoo thought the same about him, but he didn't answer. He quietly took out his two daggers to save his strength. The Dragon King drew his sword. The sound of metal rang out. Even though he was too tired to keep his powerful form, the Dragon King used all his remaining energy to try and defeat Jinwoo. The hunter took a deep breath and clenched his teeth. In one quick jump, the Dragon King was right in front of him and swung his sword. The knives and sword hit each other again and again, and both fighters sprayed sweat and blood. Crack! One of the hunter's knives, which was already damaged from trying to cut through the dragon's scales, broke apart. Suddenly the Dragon King's sword swung down toward Jinwoo, so he quickly turned his body to get out of the way. The hunter slipped and fell. The Dragon King quickly used this chance to stab Jinwoo in the stomach. A sharp sound filled the air. Jinwoo pushed through the pain and tried to stab the Dragon King's neck with his dagger. But the powerful creature caught the blade with his hand. A dark energy surrounded the dagger. But Jinwoo had a similar dark red energy of his own that stopped it. The Dragon King smiled. Did you honestly believe a dagger made from a dragon's tooth could hurt me? He pushed his sword harder, cutting deeper into Jinwoo's stomach. Jinwoo coughed, and blood came out. Ugh! The Dragon King kicked Jinwoo, making him fall. Jinwoo tried to get up, but stopped when he felt the Dragon King's sword near his throat. The Dragon King laughed. Don't you think this is a little funny? He looked down at Jinwoo with a confident and proud expression. This is a fight between fire created from darkness and darkness created from light. And so it seemed everything was finally ending. Jinwoo nodded. Yes, I can see how it will finish. The Dragon King looked Jinwoo up and down, carefully examining his injuries with both interest and a little bit of fun. Have you decided it's no use fighting anymore? Jinwoo's sad look quickly changed. He seemed to have a new idea. The Dragon King was surprised and quickly swung his sword, but Jinwoo unexpectedly ran forward too. The sword almost hit Jinwoo's neck, only cutting his skin a little. Blood sprayed out, but the cut wasn't too serious. He knew he could keep fighting, as he was hurt. Jinwoo quickly grabbed a dagger from his bag. He stabbed at the Dragon King's chest before the surprised creature could react. The dagger went through the Dragon King's armor and into his heart. Plah! The Dragon King cried out. Jinwoo wasn't finished yet. He knew it wouldn't be easy to defeat the monarch. He was still battling even after being seriously hurt, an injury that would have killed most people. Jinwoo pulled the dagger from the Dragon King's chest and used a special skill. Quickly the dagger struck the monarch of destruction many times, again and again. Even with so many wounds, the Dragon King was still able to lift his sword. Jinwoo couldn't believe what he was seeing. Even with a large hole in his chest, the Dragon King was blocking every one of Jinwoo's attacks. In fact, he seemed to be moving even quicker. No wonder he was the most powerful creature ever made, created from darkness by a powerful being just to cause destruction. Jinwoo had always thought he was fast, but sweat dripped down his forehead as he tried to keep up. Rastao, the Dragon King, roared and pushed Jinwoo back. It felt like Jinwoo's wrist was broken. Ouch! By the time Jinwoo stood up straight, the Dragon King was right in front of him again. Instead of being slow again, the Dragon King quickly thrust his sword into Jinwoo's chest. Ouch! A strong burning pain filled Jinwoo's chest. He felt like he couldn't breathe or talk. His legs became weak, and he fell to his knees. Thud. The Dragon King shook his head and roared because he was unhappy. Grasala. He changed into a dragon folk, which is a creature that is part human and part dragon, and stretched out his long claws. His voice was a deep growl as he said, "I will destroy you and give what's left to the wyverns." Trying to treat the Shadow Monarch like a king had been a bad idea. Now the Dragon King wanted to defeat him in a terrible way to show his anger at being disrespected. The very angry Dragon King showed his sharp claws and roared again. This time, loud shouts came from above. Whoosh! The Dragon King looked up and saw something amazing. An army from the rulers, the soldiers who lived in the sky, was pouring out of huge gates. There were so many soldiers they seemed to go on forever. The dark clouds disappeared as soldiers filled the sky with white smoke. That was impossible. The Dragon King was very surprised. He was certain he hadn't noticed any gates when he first arrived, so he wondered where they had appeared from. How could the soldiers from the sky suddenly appear? It would take a huge amount of power to open a connection between their world and this one. The Dragon King quickly turned to look at Jinwoo, who was breathing heavily. Is that why you used all your strength right away? Jinwoo hadn't made a mistake, because he lacked experience. Everything he did was planned from the start. He wanted the fight between the two powerful creatures to cause enough chaos, so that others could enter. Until now, the Dragon King had been judging Jinwoo's choices based on what he himself would do. Getting the attention of the powerful Chaos Army and bringing the Dragon King here, the Monarch of Destruction thought. Jinwoo only wanted to fight him alone. But Jinwoo had a different plan. You can't reach the rulers actually, there was a way to contact them using special people called vessels. A few ships were still operating powered by the rulers. That's how the rulers knew exactly where to open the special doorways. The Dragon King was very angry. While the Dragon King only cared about winning this fight, Jinwoo was ready to lose the fight, if it meant he could win the overall war. It was a total defeat for the Dragon King. Jinwoo smiled even though he was hurting. You did this, didn't you? You told the Monarch of White Lightning and the Fang Monarch to attack the Shadow Monarch from behind. Did the Monarch of White Lightning reveal what happened? Instead of answering, Jinwoo looked up as many soldiers flew down toward them. He looked back at the Dragon King and smiled. Ashbourne sends his greetings, Jinwoo said, making a rude gesture with his hand at the same time. The Dragon King was very angry. How dare you? He jumped at Jinwoo, but before he could reach him, 6 beautiful wings wrapped around the Dragon King, protecting Jinwoo. The Dragon King pulled back his claws and sighed as he looked at the newcomer. Ah, the brightest piece of light. The Dragon King looked up and saw 6 more angels, each with 6 wings, slowly coming down. The battle was over. The Dragon King breathed out as he remembered his conversation with Jinwoo. I guess this is the end. Soon, the ruler's spears pierced the Monarch of Destruction from all sides. The end of the war. The fierce battle between the two monarchs left traces in the sky. The dust they kicked up now floated down gently like snow. Jinwoo watched a few flakes land on his shoulders. Then looked up. Far above him, the armies of the rulers filled the sky as they kept coming through many gates. Millions of soldiers marched forward, following orders from their leaders. It was an amazing sight to see so many together. Their job was to defeat the remaining armies of the enemy. Most of the enemy leaders, including the Dragon King, were already gone. So the soldiers arriving meant the long war was finally ending. Watching them leave to fight, Jinwoo felt a strange sadness. A beautiful shining light landed in front of Jinwoo and gently folded into his 6 wings. The other powerful leaders stepped forward one by one. The most radiant piece of pure energy carefully looked at the man standing before it. At first glance, Jinwoo appeared to be a regular human, but this one human had stopped the fighting between them and the monarchs. It was unbelievable that the endless war started by the Supreme Being would be finished by someone so small and fragile from another world. The surprised and brilliant piece of energy felt only respect for Jinwoo. You have stopped our war. I don't know how to thank you enough. Jinwoo looked away from the falling ash and turned to the brightest piece of light. I have a big request, and I'm hoping you can help me. A request. The ruler seemed confused. The Shadow Monarch was very powerful, maybe even more powerful than them, so why was he asking them for a favor? Jinwoo explained what he needed. This is a task only, you are able to complete. The ruler agreed. I will help in any way I can. The Shadow Monarch had helped defeat the Dragon King, so the rulers felt they owed him a great deal. There was no reason the rulers couldn't help Jinwoo with what he wanted. But his request was hard to make happen. One more time, could you use the cup of reincarnation again? The rulers were very surprised and stared at Jinwoo with open mouths. The most powerful of the rulers asked, you want us to use the cup of reincarnation to go back in time? That's right. Jinwoo nodded firmly. And once you go back in time, please don't interfere with Earth. I will handle the monarchs and their soldiers in the space between worlds. Jinwoo's words surprised the most powerful piece of light. He wants to fight for us. The old Shadow Monarch had told Jinwoo how the cup of reincarnation worked. According to Ashbourne, powerful beings like the rulers and monarchs never forgot things, even if someone tried to change the past. Now that Jinwoo and Ashbourne were combined, he would keep the Shadow Monarch's abilities and memories. This would help him carry out his plan and travel into the space between worlds. Are you saying you'll fight the enemy's army alone? The brightest piece of luminosity asked, sounding surprised. But why, we have used the cup of reincarnation many times, but we have never had better results than this. Jinwoo looked down at his father's dagger. This war has caused so much loss of life. I want those people back. If going back in time meant saving them, Jinwoo was ready to fight the powerful leaders again. The shining piece of light closed his eyes and thought carefully. He understood why Jinwoo thought that was a good idea, but going back in time was very dangerous. The cup of reincarnation was almost used up. Even though he believed in Jinwoo's skills, they wouldn't have another chance if the plan didn't work. Things could become much worse for everyone if they failed. The way things are now might actually be the best they can be. People could always remember you as the hero who saved everyone from the monarchs. But nobody except you would remember a new war you started. If you fail, terrible things will happen. Even if you succeed, no one will cheer for you. The most powerful piece of luminosity looked very sad. Do you still want to go back in time? Instead of responding, Jinwoo shut his eyes and thought about the people he cared about most. Jinwoo could see his mother and sister through the eyes of the soldiers he had sent to watch over them. They were holding hands and looked worried as they watched news about Japan on television. Ten was praying very hard with her eyes closed. Jinchul watched the TV with sad eyes. Jinwoo felt good knowing his friends really cared. When he opened his eyes, he knew what he wanted to do. Yes, go back in time. He wanted to save everyone who was still alive, and also those who had died. That included President Go, Adam White, his dad, and many others who had been hurt or killed in the war. Jinwoo was strongly determined to keep everyone safe from now on. He promised himself he would never let anyone he cared about be lost again. He made this promise with all his strength. The powerful rulers had used a dangerous and forbidden tool, only because this world had become the place where they fought their battles. He had saved the world before, and now he was choosing to save everyone in it, not just a part of it. He wanted to take on the whole difficult job himself. For a moment, the shining light thought it saw the face of Ashbourne looking like Jinwoo. The last Shadow Monarch was a strong and determined person who defended his leader, the Supreme Being, until the very end. He was a frightening opponent, but the most powerful piece of luminosity still admired him. This new person reminds me of him. Thinking about Ashbourne made the ruler smile a little. I understand now. I will wish you success. Jinwoo asked a question. What will happen to the soldiers who weren't around before? For example, Baru, Ashbourne's older soldiers would still exist as shadow soldiers. But what about Baru, who wasn't here 10 years ago? Or Greed, who used to be a person named Dongsu Hashwang? Things that are the same in the past will vanish, and everything else will stay. That meant Baru would remain, but Greed would disappear. Jinwoo heard the sad sounds of the soldiers nearby. He thought about saying goodbye to them as they prepared to leave. Then he looked up and smiled. I'm ready. The brightest piece of light brought forth a special cup from another world, and nodded. May you be brave and save your world. The world was filled with light. Soon after, a newspaper printed a short story about a student who went missing, and left a note saying he had important things to do. 2 years later, when the missing student returned, it caused a little excitement.